Have you ever wondered about the life of a rock legend who shattered gender barriers and redefined the music scene? Today, we're diving deep into the incredible journey of Susie Quatro, from her vibrant childhood in Detroit, surrounded by music, to becoming a global icon in rock and even the ups and downs of her personal life. This is a story of resilience, passion, and groundbreaking achievements. Stick around as we uncover how this trailblazer carved her name into the history of rock and roll. Susie Quatro, born Susan K. Quatro on June 3, 1950, in Detroit, Michigan, USA, grew up in a culturally diverse family. Her father, Art Quatro, was a semi-professional musician who worked at General Motors to support the family. Her mother, Helen, was of Hungarian descent and passed away in 1992. Susie's paternal grandfather was an Italian immigrant to the United States, and the family's original surname, Quattrocchi, meaning four eyes or wearing glasses, was shortened to Quatro for simplicity. Susie was raised in a musically rich environment. Her father was not only a talented musician, but also a strong influence on his children's musical pursuits. In 1964, he gifted Susie a 1957 Fender Precision bass guitar, a meaningful present that marked the beginning of her musical journey. She kept and used this cherished instrument in her recordings for many decades. The Quatro family was large and vibrant, with three older sisters, Arlene, Patty, and Nancy, one brother, Michael Quatro, and a half-sister from her father's side. Additionally, the family fostered other children, creating a bustling household full of different personalities and dynamics. Despite this, Susie often felt both outgoing and lonely, as described by Philip Norman of the Sunday Times. This paradox reflected her individuality and creative spark, which set her apart even within her own family. Her sister Arlene became the mother of renowned actress Sherilyn Fenn. Another sister, Patty, pursued her own musical career and became a member of Fanny, one of the first all-female rock bands to gain national attention in the United States. Meanwhile, her brother Michael Quatro also followed a musical path, making notable contributions to the local music scene. This familial focus on music cemented the art form as a cornerstone of Susie's upbringing and future career. Susie's passion for music ignited at the age of 6, when she watched Elvis Presley perform on television. His charisma and energy left an indelible mark on her, inspiring her to dream of becoming a performer. However, she later admitted that she lacked direct female role models in the music industry. Instead, she drew inspiration from Billie Holiday's soulful voice and admired the bold fashion sense of Mary Weiss from the Shangri-Las, particularly her tight pants and vests, which Susie described as hot. This combination of musical influence and personal style shaped Susie's early artistic identity. Musically, Susie received formal training in classical piano and percussion, starting with bongos as her first instrument. However, her journey with the bass guitar began when her sister Patty encouraged her to learn the instrument for their band, the Pleasure Seekers. Susie's dedication and natural talent quickly became evident, and she laid the foundation for what would become a groundbreaking career in rock music. Despite growing up in a family deeply involved in music, Susie's relationship with her mother Helen was somewhat distant during her youth. It wasn't until Susie moved to England in the 1970s to pursue her career that she began to develop a closer bond with her mother. This emotional growth and newfound appreciation for family played a significant role in Susie's personal development. Susie Quatro's musical career began at an early age, performing in her father's jazz band, the Art Quatro Trio, when she was just 7 or 8 years old. Her role in the band was as a percussionist, marking her first steps into the world of professional music. By her teenage years, her energetic performances had already hinted at the trailblazing artist she would become. In 1964, inspired by the Beatles' electrifying performance on television, Susie Quatro, Susie Quatro's older sister, decided to form an all-female rock band called the Pleasure Seekers. Together with two friends, Patty began creating a space for women in the male-dominated world of rock music. Soon, Susie joined the group, adopting the stage name Susie Soul, while Patty became known as Patty Pleasure. Susie's role in the band was as both the bassist and lead vocalist, showcasing her raw talent and burgeoning stage presence. As the band evolved, another Quatro sister, Arlene, joined, further cementing the group as a family-driven musical powerhouse. The Pleasure Seekers quickly became a prominent part of the Detroit music scene, which was thriving at the time. However, the road to success was not without its challenges. Many of their early performances took place in cabarets and clubs, where audiences often focused more on the members' physical appearances than their actual music. The band was sometimes required to wear miniskirts and wigs, a practice that Susie later referred to as a necessary evil in the pursuit of success. Despite this, the Pleasure Seekers pushed through societal expectations and stereotypes, determined to be recognized for their talent. Despite limited mainstream success, the Pleasure Seekers became well-known figures in Detroit's vibrant music community. Their energetic live performances and all-female lineup distinguished them from their contemporaries, earning them a devoted local fan base. By 1969, the band underwent significant changes. A fourth Quatro sister, Nancy, joined the group, replacing Arlene, who left to focus on her family after giving birth. With this lineup shift, the band rebranded itself as Cradle, signaling a departure from their earlier pop-influenced garage rock sound toward a heavier, more experimental direction. Cradle reflected the changing musical landscape of the late 1960s, embracing the burgeoning psychedelic and progressive rock movements. In 1971, British record producer Mickie Most discovered Quatro while she was performing with her band in Detroit. Most, who had worked with artists like The Animals and Lulu, saw potential in Susie as a solo artist and invited her to England. Leaving her family and band behind, Quatro embarked on a solo career that would soon make her a global rock sensation. Her breakthrough came in 1973 with the single Can the Can, which topped charts in Europe and Australia, selling over 1 million copies. This was followed by other hits such as Devilgate Drive, 48 Crash, and Stumblin' In, a duet with Chris Norman of Smokey. Stumblin' In reached number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, becoming her most successful song in her home country. These tracks not only showcase Quatro's unique blend of glam rock and hard rock, but also solidified her status as one of the first women to front a rock band while playing an instrument. Despite her success overseas, Quatro struggled to break into the American market, where her songs didn't gain as much traction. However, her popularity in Europe and Australia soared. Her 1970s albums consistently achieved gold and platinum status in those regions, and she became an icon for female empowerment in rock music, paving the way for future artists like Joan Jett and Debbie Harry. In 1980, Quatro released the album Rock Hard under Dreamland Records. The album's title track became a platinum hit in Australia and was featured in the cult film Times Square. However, the folding of Dreamland Records in 1981 left her without a label, signaling the end of her commercial peak. Quatro expanded her artistic repertoire by venturing into acting. She is perhaps best known for her role as Leather Tuscadero on the hit TV series Happy Days. The character, a tough, leather-clad rock musician, was written specifically for Quatro after producer Gary Marshall saw her photo on his daughter's bedroom wall. Leather Tuscadero became a fan favorite, and her appearances elevated Quatro's profile in the United States. Despite being offered a spin-off series, Quatro declined, fearing it would typecast her. Although her chart success waned in the 1980s, Quatro remained an active musician, recording and releasing new music throughout the decades. Her albums included Back to the Drive, 2006, and In the Spotlight, 2011, both of which showcased her enduring passion for rock and roll. She celebrated her 50th anniversary in the music industry with the anthology album The Girl from Detroit City in 2014. In addition to her music, Quatro became a popular radio host in 2014 in the UK, presenting shows such as Rockin' with Susie Q and Wake Up Little Susie on BBC Radio 2. These programs highlighted her deep knowledge of rock history and her charismatic personality. While Suzi Quatro is celebrated as a trailblazer in rock music, her career was not without its share of controversies and challenges, many of which highlighted the systemic issues in the music industry during her era. Throughout her career, Quatro often faced conflicts with record labels, stemming from creative differences. In the early stages of her career with the Pleasure Seekers, and later with her solo projects, Quatro consistently pushed for artistic control over her music. However, this clashed with the commercial priorities of the industry. Her brief contract with Mercury Records while in the Pleasure Seekers exemplified these struggles. The label pressured the band to conform to a more mainstream pop sound, which conflicted with their vision as a rock band. The inability to reconcile these differences led to the termination of their contract, and the band ultimately rebranded as Cradle to regain creative freedom. Similarly, during her solo career, Quatro faced pressure to adapt her image and sound to suit the American market. Her early hits like Can the Can and Devilgate Drive were massive successes in Europe and Australia, but struggled to gain traction in the US, where record executives pushed her to tone down her edgy, leather-clad persona in favor of a more palatable image. Quatro's early experiences with the Pleasure Seekers highlighted the pervasive sexism in the music industry of the 1960s and 1970s. As an all-female band in a male-dominated field, the Pleasure Seekers were often judged more for their appearance than their musical talent. Many of their performances took place in cabarets, where they were expected to wear mini-skirts and wigs to appeal to male audiences. Quatro later described these expectations as necessary evils in their pursuit of success, but they also left a lasting impact on her perspective of the industry. Even as a solo artist, Quatro faced resistance from those who doubted her ability to succeed as a female bassist and rock musician. Despite her undeniable talent, critics and industry insiders often underestimated her, focusing instead on her unconventional image and comparing her to male rock stars. This bias forced Quatro to fight harder to prove her worth and gain the respect she deserved as a musician and performer. Quatro's decision to accept the role of Leather Tuscadero on the popular TV show Happy Days in the late 1970s brought both acclaim and criticism. While the role significantly elevated her profile in the United States, it also drew backlash from some rock purists who felt that her acting career detracted from her authenticity as a rock artist. When offered a spin-off series centered on her character, Quatro declined, citing concerns about being typecast and losing credibility as a musician. However, the move still sparked debates about whether her involvement in acting compromised her rock persona. As Quatro's career progressed, some critics and fans expressed disappointment with the evolution of her musical style. Her early work, characterized by high-energy glam rock anthems, gave way to a more mellow, pop-oriented sound in the late 1970s and 1980s. Hits like If You Can't Give Me Love and Stumbling In showcased this stylistic shift, which, while commercially successful, alienated some of her core fan base. Quatro's decision to experiment with different styles was driven by a desire to stay relevant in an ever-changing industry, but it also exposed her to accusations of abandoning her rock roots. By the late 1980s, it became apparent that Quatro's chart-topping days were behind her. Despite her continued efforts to release new music, including 4 albums in the 1990s, her work struggled to achieve the same level of success as her earlier hits. Critics labeled her as a relic of the glam rock era, failing to adapt to the changing musical landscape. Although Quatro remained a respected figure in the industry, her diminished commercial success during this period led to speculation about whether her career choices, including her focus on acting and radio hosting, had diverted attention away from her music. Suzi Quatro's personal life, particularly her marriages, offers a glimpse into the balance she maintained between her rock and roll career and her roles as a wife and mother. Despite the challenges of being a global music icon, her relationships have been marked by both love and periods of profound reflection. In 1976, Suzi Quatro married Len Tuckey, her longtime guitarist and creative collaborator. Tuckey played a significant role in Suzi's music career, performing with her on stage and in the studio. Their partnership was not only professional but deeply personal, and together they navigated the intense demands of Quatro's thriving career during the height of her fame in the 1970s and 1980s. The couple had 2 children, a son and a daughter, and Quatro took great pride in balancing her role as a mother with her career as a rock star. During this time, she spoke openly about the challenges of motherhood, especially as her career required extensive touring and long periods away from home. Nevertheless, she made efforts to ensure her children were raised in a stable and loving environment. Quatro and Tuckey lived together in a manor house in Essex, England, which they purchased in 1980. This home became a sanctuary for their family, away from the spotlight. Despite their efforts to maintain a strong relationship, the pressures of fame, constant travel, and the demands of their individual careers began to strain their marriage. After 16 years together, the couple divorced in 1992. In later interviews, Quatro reflected on the dissolution of her first marriage, acknowledging that their relationship had run its course. However, she emphasized that the separation was amicable and that both she and Tuckey remained committed to co-parenting their children. A year after her divorce from Len Tuckey, Quatro found love again with Rainer Haas, a German concert promoter. The couple married in 1993, and their relationship marked a new chapter in Suzi's life. Unlike her first marriage, which was closely intertwined with her music career, her relationship with Haas provided a sense of stability and partnership outside the pressures of the entertainment industry. Quatro and Haas have divided their time between homes in Essex, England, and Hamburg, Germany, allowing them to maintain a sense of privacy and normalcy. In interviews, Quatro has often described Haas as her rock and a source of unwavering support throughout her later career. His background in concert promotion gave him a deep understanding of the music industry, which helped strengthen their bond. Quatro has been candid about her experiences as a mother and the challenges of parenting while pursuing a demanding career. In 2006, her daughter and grandchild moved back into the family manor, providing Quatro with the opportunity to reconnect with her family in a more intimate way. However, by 2008, both of her children had moved out, leaving Quatro with what she described as empty nest syndrome. During this period, she briefly considered selling the Essex manor, reflecting the emotional difficulty of adjusting to a quieter household. Despite these transitions, Quatro has remained deeply committed to her family. Her children have often spoken about her dedication as a mother and her ability to create a warm and nurturing environment despite the demands of her career. Beyond her marriages, Susie Quatro's life has been enriched and shaped by a variety of relationships, spanning family, friendships, and professional collaborations. These connections highlight her deep sense of loyalty and her ability to maintain meaningful ties despite the demands of her music career. Quatro's relationship with her two children has been a significant part of her personal journey. As a mother balancing the demands of an international music career, she often found it challenging to spend as much time as she wanted with her family during their formative years. Despite this, she made concerted efforts to provide them with a stable upbringing. In 2006, her daughter and grandchild moved back into the family manor in Essex, a decision that brought Quatro immense joy and allowed her to experience the closeness of a multi-generational household. This period strengthened her bond with her family, offering her a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. However, in 2008, both her children moved out of the house, leading Quatro to experience what she described as empty nest syndrome. She openly discussed the emotional toll of this transition, even briefly considering selling the manor due to its associations with family life. Despite these ups and downs, Quatro's relationship with her children remains a cornerstone of her life. In interviews, she has often expressed pride in their accomplishments and gratitude for the love and support they continue to provide her. Quatro's career was built on numerous collaborations and partnerships. One of the most notable was with British producer Mickie Most, who discovered her in Detroit and brought her to England. Most recognized her potential as a solo artist and played a pivotal role in shaping her early career. Despite occasional creative disagreements, their partnership was instrumental in launching Quatro into international stardom. Another key relationship was with Mike Chapman and Nicky Chin, the songwriting and production duo behind many of her biggest hits, including Can the Can and Devilgate Drive. Their ability to craft catchy, high-energy glam rock anthems perfectly complemented Quatro's powerful stage presence and unique style. Quatro formed friendships with several prominent figures in the music industry. One of her most notable connections was with Joan Jett, who has often cited Quatro as a major influence on her career. Jett's admiration for Quatro's fearless approach to rock music and her ability to break gender barriers helped forge a bond of mutual respect between the two artists. Quatro also maintained a warm relationship with her Happy Days co-stars, particularly Henry Winkler, Fonzie, and Aaron Moran, Joni. These friendships extended beyond the set and contributed to the camaraderie that made the show a cultural phenomenon. As of today, Suzi Quatro remains an active and vibrant presence in the music industry, demonstrating the same passion and energy that defined her career over 5 decades ago. Though her days of topping the charts may be behind her, she continues to perform, record music, and inspire fans around the world with her resilience and pioneering spirit. Suzi Quatro still tours internationally, performing for devoted fans across Europe, Australia, and other parts of the world. Her concerts often feature a mix of her classic hits like Can the Can, Devilgate Drive, and Stumblin' In, alongside newer material from her recent albums. She is known for her electrifying stage presence, proving that her ability to command an audience has not diminished with age. In recent years, Quatro has continued to release new music. In 2019, she collaborated with her son Richard Tuckey on the album No Control. The record was widely praised for its raw, unfiltered rock sound and its reflection of Quatro's enduring love for music. Songs like No Soul, No Control and Heart on the Line demonstrated her ability to stay relevant while maintaining the essence of her original style. In 2021, she released another album, The Devil in Me, which was once again a collaboration with her son. This album was considered one of her strongest works in decades, showcasing her ability to adapt to modern rock trends while staying true to her roots. The record received critical acclaim for its energy, honesty, and authenticity, solidifying her reputation as a rock icon who refuses to fade into obscurity. Quatro has remained a familiar voice on British radio. She has hosted several rock-themed programs on BBC Radio 2, such as Rockin' with Susie Q and Wake Up Little Susie. These shows allow her to share her deep knowledge and passion for rock music while connecting with fans in a more personal way. Her charismatic hosting style and insights into music history have made her a beloved figure in the world of radio. Quatro also appeared in the 2019 documentary Susie Q, which chronicles her life and career, highlighting her influence on women in rock music. The documentary featured interviews with high-profile artists like Joan Jett, Debbie Harry, and Cherie Currie, all of whom credited Quatro as a trailblazer. The film was both a celebration of her legacy and an acknowledgement of the challenges she faced in breaking barriers as a female rock artist. Quatro divides her time between her homes in Essex, England, and Hamburg, Germany. She shares her life with her second husband, Rainer Haas, a German concert promoter whom she married in 1993. The couple enjoys a relatively private life away from the spotlight, but Quatro remains active on social media, where she engages with fans and shares glimpses of her daily activities. Quatro continues to cherish her role as a mother and grandmother. Her son Richard has followed in her musical footsteps, collaborating with her on multiple albums, while her daughter has largely stayed out of the public eye. Quatro has often spoken about the joy of seeing her family grow and the pride she takes in their accomplishments. At 74 years old, Quatro is often described as the queen of rock and roll and remains a significant influence on generations of female musicians. Artists like Joan Jett, Chrissie Hynde, and the Runaways have openly credited her as a role model who paved the way for women in rock music. Despite her legendary status, Quatro continues to look forward rather than dwell on the past. In interviews, she often emphasizes her philosophy of living in the moment and staying passionate about her work. She has said, "Retirement is not in my vocabulary. As long as I can rock and roll, I will." Quatro remains physically active, often attributing her stamina to a disciplined lifestyle and her love for performing. She has stated in interviews that her commitment to her craft keeps her healthy and focused. Her energetic live performances are a testament to her enduring vitality and dedication. And that wraps up the incredible journey of Suzi Quatro, a woman who didn't just play rock and roll but lived it every single day. From her early years in Detroit to her global success and lasting legacy, her story continues to inspire musicians and fans alike. If you enjoyed exploring her life with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories of legends who changed the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.